Now, it's one thing to know you're under threat. It's another thing to know that, you're under threat for the summer with Nagelsmann, with whatever, and an imminent threat of Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah.
Thomas Tuchel, who initially, as you reported and others, puts out, well, I was just fired. It was my Christmas present, getting fired. I want to take some time off and think and regenerate.
Certainly.
I suspect from Tuchel's perspective, he maybe had a rethink, or maybe the club simply went to him and said, Thomas, mein Lieber, if you want this job, it's now.
Yeah.
It's not in the summer. Because with all due respect, you're not Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola. You're Thomas Tuchel. And this job is here now, or could be here now, but it's not going to be here in the summer. I think that's what swung him. You obviously, we were talking off air earlier, suggested maybe they just put a few more million on his contract.
Yeah, maybe as well. It's good. But certainly I think that because there was a time where we thought, okay, they can sack Lampard, have someone as an interim manager between now and the end of the season, and then in the summer, you bring Thomas Tuchel or you bring Nagelsmann or whoever you want. But if you look at who could have been the interim manager right now, whether that was Shevchenko or Avram Grant,
and you're not going to go back to goose hitting a third time.
Goose hitting, you go like, okay, maybe the interim thing is not a good idea. So when Tuchel said, okay, actually I can come now, I'm happy to come now, maybe with a few more millions on the paycheck, and maybe I don't know, maybe he's watched them play a bit more, maybe he had a deeper dive into their games, maybe he's already seen how he can improve them, maybe he's spoken to people around the club who played against them, maybe Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, I don't know, anyone, Rudiger, who he's very close to, who he wanted to bring to Paris. Maybe he had a phone call with Rudiger, and Rudiger said to him, Coach, come now, because there's good talent there, there's this, there's that. And maybe that also happened and helped Tuchel saying, actually, forget about the summer, I'm going to come now and I'm going to work with this team right now. Maybe he feels this is a free hit between now and the end of the season, which he would be. We would give him, I think, a lot of time because this is not his squad. Arriving in February is not easy, especially after the poor run of form. So maybe he thinks, hang on a minute, I can have a free hit now, free ride between now and May.
Well, it's not really a free ride. The reason it's not a free ride is because if you don't finish top four, you're not going to get sacked. But if you don't finish top four, the margin for error then substantially diminishes. Chelsea spent an enormous amount of money counterintuitively in the summer in the hopes of accumulating assets and being able to build on this. It's not like financial fair play has disappeared, despite what some people say.
No, but in the sense that if they finish fourth, people will say, oh, Tuchel is a genius. This is amazing.
Fourth, yes.
If they finish seventh, everybody, and Tuchel himself say, well, it's not my fault. I arrived. They had won 1 in 7 or 1 in 8. This was an unbalanced squad.
I think the clear message with Tuchel, though, is that he's going to have to make it work with this group of players.
Yeah.
Or with some of the diaspora of Chelsea players who are out on loan and, of course, who could come back, whether it's Barkley or Loftus-Cheek or whoever you want to mention, Michy Batshuayi, perhaps. Lucas Piazon is no longer under contract, so it's not going to be him.
Sorry, Thomas.
It's interesting because I think part of the appeal of Tuchel, and as you know, I said many times, I am a dyed-in-the-wool Tuchelista going back to Mainz.
But old-school Tuchelista.
I am old-school Tuchelista. Yeah. The new Tuchel, the Tuchel we saw at Paris Saint-Germain, isn't Tuchel. The new Tuchel is some sort of insect-like version of somewhere between Ancelotti and Solskjaer. He is a man manager, right?
Yeah.
He is a guy...
But he doesn't like that, right?
You know that. Well, this is the thing, right? You say he doesn't like that. That's what he had to be at Paris Saint-Germain, right? At Paris Saint-Germain, we didn't see the wacky high press. We didn't see the sophisticated approach and everything. What we saw was a guy saying, all right, I have some really good players. Let me put them out there in the best conditions to win. Let me do my best to keep them happy and keep them working hard and keep them on side with me. And let me go and see what I can do. And he did that fairly well in the sense that until this season, Paris Saint-Germain certainly were punching their weight, let's say, not above their weight. Obviously, Chelsea feel that this is the profile that they need. And this is part of the thing that I can't quite square away. We're led to believe, Mark Ogden reporting, that the other managers that they looked at weren't man-manager types. They were visionary types, if you want to use these labels, right? There's Nagelsmann and Ralf Rangnick. So do they want Tuchel to come in to be the Tuchel of Mainz?
Yeah.
Because if they want Tuchel to come in and be the Tuchel of Mainz, then you have an issue with the squad.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to ask you. is Chelsea a political club where you have to be more than just a manager, where you have to be very good at politics?
I think
Would you say?
undoubtedly, yeah.
So this is something that he hated in Paris, that he was not happy with. In the end, he even sort of begged, I just want to coach. That's all I want to do. I want to coach. I don't want all the rest around. I'm sorry, but at Chelsea, if he did his homework well, he knows that he's going to come to a club quite similar, you would say that, right, to PSG in that sense, in the political sense of how the club works?
I think, I think one of the key differences is there's fewer people like speaking and speaking to the media and dropping things in the media. It's less that way. They are much more closed internally. Those conversations are happening, but they happen internally, and it's very political internally.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously Peter Cech isn't Leonardo in terms of going on and saying, maybe we'll do this. Oh yeah, I thought the team kind of sucked this weekend. Or, I would have substituted that guy. It's not gonna, that's not Chelsea. So, but I completely agree with you.
So now the players, you're right. Is this squad suited? There's no Neymar and Mbappe in there. So there's the question mark over. Okay, are they gonna listen to him? Is that dressing room going to do what he wants? If he says run like crazy, are you going to run like crazy? Okay, this is slightly different. But is this squad suited to the Thomas Tuchel of Mainz or even of Dortmund's first half of his Dortmund tenure?
I would argue, no, not for that. Not for that Tuchel. I don't see that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could look at it and say, oh, but look, you have Timo Werner and Pulisic, and these guys will do what you want them to do. Okay, fine. You can build these guys from the ground up. But equally, you've got issues. You've got issues in certain positions. I mean, I'm not sure Rudiger, as close as he might be to Tuchel, is necessarily that guy. I'm not sure Thiago Silva at his age is that guy. That is obviously a role that they're going to have to address. Yeah. The center back position, unless Tomori goes to Milan and channels his inner Baresi, which is possible too, I guess. Yeah. You have that issue in defensive midfield, which isn't going away. Yeah. You have a Havertz issue, which I don't see why it would be different for him than for Tuchel. So I think necessarily Tuchel is going to have to be man manager Tuchel. He's going to have to be reassure the people upstairs Tuchel. He's going to have to be the Tuchel that we saw at Paris Saint-Germain, and he's going to have to do it without Neymar and Mbappe.
Yeah.
That's the part which, to me, makes me a bit uneasy. I mean, I don't know. I personally, I would have said, suck it up, wait longer, take a run at Nagelsmann, if you like. Because remember, too, Lampard, if you go against Lampard, you have to be sure that this is a battle you're going to win. Lampard still carries a lot of weight among Chelsea fans. And I don't know in what condition, I don't know when he's going to speak, how he's going to speak. Maybe Lampard resigned and we don't know that. Maybe Lampard just says, screw this, I'm out of here. Maybe Lampard wants to keep a great relationship with the club. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, and we're purely speculating, but if Lampard feels slighted or if he's unhappy, he is a threat to get back to you. And then that undermines not so much Abramovich or even Marina, but it undermines Peter Cech, McLaughlin, some of these other people around him. Yeah. Again, if he decides.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really, really big call, and it's going to be a fascinating story, and undoubtedly one we'll get into further.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.